Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Quinton-Smith, and today I'm going to talk to you about why Gen Z aren't lazy motherfuckers. I thought that'd get a laugh. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be talking to you about, why Gen Z aren't lazy motherfuckers. I'm going to help you understand a bit more about Gen Z and actually how they can be the biggest assets that you have within your business. Not only that, how you can communicate with them from a customer perspective. To me, this is all about unlocking the potential of Gen Z. So my name is Patrick Quinton-Smith, and I'm founder and head coach of corporate business performance consultancy, the Gen Z Coach. Now, at the Gen Z Coach, we unlock the untapped potential of Gen Z to increase productivity, engagement, and retention. And how we do this is we coach Gen Z teams to create high-performing teams. So we have one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And at the same time, we provide insights to senior leaders on how to understand them and communicate with them and get the best out of them. And what this does, it bridges generational gaps to improve business performance. So, actually, before we move on, let me just go a show of hands. Who here thinks Gen Z, lazy motherfuckers? Any hands? I can see that hand over there. Don't be shy. There's so many headlines about Gen Z. They're annoying, they're unmotivated, etc. And essentially, I'm kind of here to say, look, we can. You might see these things, but actually, they're the future generation. So we can work against them or work with them. So I'm just here to hopefully give some insights on how to really work with them. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about me, why you should listen to me, who Gen Z are, so a little bit about them, why they need coaching, and then how to unlock their potential. And we've got time for some Q&A. So any questions, pop them on Slido. So firstly, why me? So I'm going to move over here. So first thing to say, I may look young. That's because I am young. I'm 27 years young, and I'm an amazing coach. I am a certified leadership trainer. I'm an associate certified coach with the International Coaching Federation, which is equivalent to ILM Level 7 for those that are coaching in the UK. And I have certificates in team coaching, team dynamics, and transformational coaching and career coaching. So I'm also a seasoned business coach. I've coached over 200 Gen Zers for performance, for productivity, and supporting their mental health. And I have a background in leadership and in collections. So I've led multiple high-performing teams. I used to work for Bulb Energy. And I scaled their collections team from 15 to 240. And in that time, we collected £8.3 million worth of revenue, which was great. Not enough to save Bulb, RIP. But crucially, I'm Gen Z myself. So what this means is I'm able to understand them, communicate with them, and empathize with them in ways that other generations, other coaches can't. So, I think part of coaching, having an impact, is feeling safe in an environment, and that's something I'm able to provide for Gen Z really well. And lastly, I'm a living testament to the impact that coaching can have. When I first started working for Bulb, I was in this really high-pressure job. There's 4,000 members joining per week. And I was really unhappy, really unmotivated, and I actually had a date in my diary to quit. So I'd been there 6 months, a date in my diary to quit. I was fortunate enough to then have a coach, my business invest in a coach for me, and that was totally transformational. I went from about to quit to staying another 3.5 years to, leading multiple high-performing teams and scaling a team to 240, which collected lots for the business. Not saying this to brag, simply to show the powerful transformation which coaching had on me, and that inspired me to do what I do today, which is to help other young people unlock their potential, to help businesses and young people thrive together, because that's what's possible, and that's now what I do with my clients. So, who are Gen Z? So here is a little infographic, which was currently supported by McKinsey. So Gen Z, born in 1995 to 2010. So 1995 is kind of the cutoff point for that. And that's the year that the internet was commercialized. And the internet is the biggest thing that has defined this generation. I've not lived without the internet. And neither was any other Gen Zs. So there are reasons that we have these generational bands because there are historical and cultural factors which define them. And we can see some of the ones which have defined some previous generations. But for Gen Z, social media, this has been massive. Gen Z have the worst mental health out of any generation, according to the American Psychological Association. And social media is one of the biggest causes of that mental health. It can lead to a lot of insecurity around not feeling good enough, constantly being compared to the best versions of other people, the seeing, lives that are actually a lot of the time false. We see the iceberg of success. We just see, the overnight success, but we don't see all the stuff that comes underneath, and we can see lives that we want. And it can lead to a lot of insecurity, which can lead to procrastination. Climate crisis, this is something that I've always known kind of growing up and is something I'm very passionate about. And what this has meant for our generation is one of our core values is kind of social impact. We want to make a difference. At very least, we don't want to make things worse. We can see where the world is heading, and we want to make a difference. So being able to tap into that for businesses is really important. We're digital natives. As I said, we've grown up with technology, and we're really good at using it. So that's something that you can utilize with Gen Z. And the 2008 recession, so this has shaped Gen Z, one of Gen Z's values, which is work-life balance and flexibility, particularly work-life balance and protecting our mental health. We saw during this period our parents struggle and stress with money, and seeing how that impacted their mental health and family dynamics has led to us valuing mental health and flexibility, work-life balance over financial gains. It's not saying that money is not important to us, it's just not as important as looking after ourselves. So, a bit of context, we're going to talk a bit more about Gen Z's values in a second. So, why did Gen Z need coaching anyway? I hear a lot of people say that. We didn't have coaching. I imagine a lot of you didn't have coaching early on in your careers. So why are Gen Z any different? I've got 3 reasons for that. The first one, Gen Z are different. As I've said before, they have had different factors that have shaped them. They are facing different challenges today. Therefore, we need different solutions. But number 2, crucially, coaching didn't exist when maybe you were young, but it does now. And if you had it, if you had an amazing coach at an early age in your career, imagine the impact. Imagine what challenges you could have overcome quicker. Imagine the benefits. Imagine the potential in your earning, your progression have led you today. So I'm very passionate about the fact that coaching is a possibility now. So that's a reason why Gen Z needed, because it exists. The NBA didn't use mindfulness coaches in sort of the 80s. That's now critical. When we have these new techniques that get results, we should incorporate them. And number 3, Gen Z have gifts and potential that other generations do not. They are incredibly entrepreneurial. They're incredibly entrepreneurial and are able to use technologies that other people can't. So being able to unlock some of those gifts that they have can be very beneficial to businesses. Okay. And when you're able to unlock the potential of Gen Z, from my story, this is the opportunity that arises for Gen Z employees. If you can unlock their potential, you're able to increase retention, you can have increased engagement, increase productivity, develop their communication, and improve their Glassdoor ratings. These are the impacts that my clients have, and I said this was 100% the case for me. But in terms of an opportunity, I know a lot of you have Gen Z customers, and you're targeting them. So how you can capitalize on them as an opportunity is tapping into some of their values. So some of their values: social responsibility, entrepreneurship, and social impact and flexibility. So in terms of social impact, demonstrating your commitment to transparency, to sustainability, and to ethics. Communicating your company mission. They want to know that the companies they're associating with are having an impact, that are making a difference. So the more you can communicate that with clarity, the better. Any way that you can help them light up their entrepreneurial spirit and help them live life more fully, they're going to be able to do that. Because Gen Z work to live. They do not live to work, and that is a bit of a shift in this generation. They want their measurement yardstick of success is not just in their work. It's much broader than that. It's about the whole life. So, how to unlock the potential of Gen Z? I'm now going to talk to you about what I actually do going into businesses and how I try and bridge that gap between Gen Z and senior leaders. How many times can I say Gen Z in one talk? So, try and get out the way. So, on the right, on this side here, these are sort of when I go in and coach Gen Z teams, the aspects, the elements which I will coach on. I'm going to run through each of these at a time. So the first one, overcoming procrastination, which obviously increases productivity. The root cause of procrastination isn't because Gen Z are inherently lazy motherfuckers. That is not the case. Actually, procrastination is a result of a lot of insecurity and self-doubt. If you have an underlying feeling that you might not be good enough, you're worrying about the impacts of taking action. If I take action, take on this challenge, what if I get criticized? What if I get rejected? What if I get told essentially that I'm not good enough? I don't want to deal with that. So there's so much worry around what if I take this action that stops people from actually doing the thing that they want to do. So helping them develop their beliefs that they do feel good enough and that they are capable is so powerful in overcoming procrastination. That shifting people's beliefs is the biggest way I helped a sales team improve their performance, because it's belief that gets in the way. And I talked about social media impacting people's belief, and it all kind of ties into this. Number 2 here, aligning personal values and goals to the business. It's hard for Gen Z people to feel motivated if they don't have a vision for their future. So having clear on what their personal and professional goals are, and then helping them see, actually, you can achieve this within your business, helping them actually align what they care about and do more of what they are good at and feel passionate about within the business, and help them achieve their goals, then they're satisfying their need to work to live. So it's focusing on that person as a whole and what they want and what they can get out of work. Point number 3, developing effective communication. So there are numerous ways you can do this, but the way I like to do it is to get them into a group, have a group discussion, and I will assess their communication on key communication behaviors and giving them feedback on how they can develop effective communication. And 4th, understanding the employer's mindset. So actually, this is helping them understand what's expected from them in the workplace, but also understanding, the mindset of their employer. What is a business? It's not just to give you a job, it's actually to make money and achieve a vision. So it's actually understanding some of the employer contract in a way, because I think sometimes that's missed. And then point number 5, tools to manage their mental health. As I said, Gen Z have the worst mental health out of any generation. It's a real issue. And giving them the tools to be able to manage that, whether that's mindfulness, whether that's journaling, note-taking, having some routines inside and outside of work. A big part of managing mental health in the workplace, I found, in some ways, just helping them manage their time and organization, helping them feel less overwhelmed. So productivity tools can also be really helpful. And then the last point, number 6, developing their mindset. And there's a number of points which I'm going to bring up here, because developing their mindset is really, really critical. And you might be surprised by one of the first messages which I share with Gen Z, but it is that we are not special. We are not special or deserving of anything. We are capable of anything, but we're deserving of nothing. If we want something, we have to go and earn it. We have to work for it, which sometimes might be missed. Explaining that, expect less from the world and more from ourselves. Often we can expect to get a lot rather than actually expecting more of ourselves. The message is focus on what you can give rather than what you can get. And that's a real game changer. And then the second point is taking responsibility. taking 100% responsibility. Taking responsibility, we are the common denominator of everything that happens in our life. So understanding that we always have a choice between stimulus and response. There's a gap. And in that gap, we have a choice of how we communicate, how we react. We can't control what happens to us in life, but we can control how we respond. We can also control our thinking. And our thinking creates our reality. So, as I talked about, understanding how beliefs might get in our way. For me, belief got in my way at work was, not feeling good enough, and I'd overcompensate by trying to have achievement. But actually, that was self-sabotaging in its own way. I won't go into that. But being able to shift my beliefs has been huge for me in my life. And it's the same for everybody. So that's massive. And then the third point around developing mindset is embracing failure and developing a growth mindset. So those who haven't heard of a growth mindset, it's a term coined by American psychologist Carol Dweck, and it's the belief that our innate abilities, our skills, our talent is not fixed. We can become great at anything, but we just have to, it's all about the 1,000-hour rule, purposeful persistence and practice, purposeful practice and persistence. So embracing failure, knowing the paradox of success is that success is built on failure. We have to fail, learn, try again. And then finally, it's about committing. And this is difficult for Gen Z because we suffer from the paradox of choice, where we suffer from the paradox of choice. I realize you can't see. We suffer from the paradox of choice where we have so many options available to us that it's so hard to pick. And if we're not getting this success that we want in this place, then we're like, oh, well, maybe I'll get quicker results over there. And by jumping around and never committing, it's possible to limit yourself. So Gen Z might think that the grass is greener, on the other side. But actually, the grass is greener where you water it. And what I help Gen Z do, and what I try to encourage you all to do if you work with Gen Z or have Gen Z children, is to water their own patch. And part of that is, all the things here, aligning their personal values and goals to that of the business, and realizing that actually a lot of what you want is probably right in front of you. You just need to see it. That was definitely the case for me. Okay, now on the other side, we have how we can support senior leaders. So I'm going to try and tackle this from helping Gen Z in the work context, but also a little bit, I've also mentioned around supporting consumers. But these are ways to support Gen Z. So understanding Gen Z, a little bit like what I'm doing today, understanding them so you can have a bit of empathy. I think, I feel like there might be a lack of empathy towards Gen Z. So understanding a bit about where they're coming from can be really helpful. Understanding is critical, in effect, in good communication. So understanding their mindset, where they're coming from, and when that comes to their values, how you can motivate them and get the most out of them. Their values are flexibility. So as a business, providing work from anywhere policies, really getting a work from home policy really nailed down, that's a really great way to motivate Gen Z from an organizational perspective. And I also mentioned that their need for social impact. So again, banging on about your mission and your company values and being committed to sustainability, ethics, and transparency, really important. And then communicating with Gen Z. Now, my sense is that, and from a lot of businesses I have spoke to, that can be quite a lot of one-way dictatorial, sort of authoritarian telling towards Gen Z. And that does not really bode too well with them. What gets the most out of Gen Z is two-way participatory communication. Like, those that think Gen Z are lazy motherfuckers, if you believe that, then how are you likely to communicate and show up with them? You're probably not going to ask for their ideas or their input. You're probably not going to give them more responsibility because they're lazy. How is a Gen Z going to feel if they're not asked anything or they're not given more responsibility when that's actually really what they crave? They're probably not going to work as hard for you. So actually, your belief might have proved yourself right, and it's come out through your communication. So choose to believe in Gen Z because we are the future generation. And believing in them, and if you believe that they are a great source of ideas and that they want to take responsibility, and you're able to involve them in more decisions and get their ideas, they will respond to that. Oh, another thing I didn't mention, Gen Z are very, very entrepreneurial. So being able to provide them with as many diverse experiences in a business as possible is really important. And they will show loyalty back to you for that. So these two things together can bridge the gap. And right over here, by the way, all this in combination, this is a winning formula for Gen Z. This is what they want. They don't want to be afflicted with all these insecurities and concerns and lack of skills and knowledge. All these things together honestly makes them unstoppable. And this is a quick case study I'm going to get out of the way. So this quick case study from a client we've been working with recently, and they had a very young sales team, hungry sales team, but they have an untapped potential. They realize that there's a lot more they could be doing and go after. So they hired me to unlock their potential and take performance to the next level. And after 5 months, we've had pretty amazing results. Over there is a screenshot of their employee engagement tool score. So that's increased by 14% since I joined in September. Sales performance has gone up 21%. The team continues to grow as they're getting great results. Retention rates are remaining high, and I'm now coaching the whole business. So this stuff really works. This really, really works. So again, what this allows by unlocking the potential of Gen Z, some may think they're lazy, but this is what's on the other side if you can support them in the right way. This is what's on the other side of your business. They can be your greatest asset. And that's it from me. So I will just say, if any of you are struggling with Gen Z in your business, or you want to unlock their potential and you feel that there's more they can give, then I'm going to stick around after. You can chat, or you can scan QR code and find me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Questions for you then. So isn't this just about looking after people in a way that makes them feel more valued, regardless of their generation, Patrick?
Yeah, 100%. I think that is a huge part of it. A lot of what I've spoken about, a lot of these principles just apply to anybody, to everybody. But I feel like it's needed more with Gen Z because they are facing more challenges at the moment, and I see they're not getting the support that is needed. So, yes, this applies to everybody, and it's helping them feel more valued, but I really feel that extra focus needs to go on Gen Z. So, yeah, agree.
So, how do you think that Generation Alpha will perform in the workplace in the future years? And are the traits and needs the same?
How do you think Generation Alpha workplace in the future years? So Generation Alpha, about 14 now, maybe 12 to 14 years old. I'm not sure, to be honest, on that. I think they're a while away from entering the workforce. Yeah, I think it's too early to say on that at the moment. It's a great question, but I'm not sure.
So any tips on how to reach out to Gen Z for debt recovery? Do we need to make a TikTok demand? I'm not doing that, though.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Whoever wrote that, come find me after. I have to have a think about that one. I think, they respond, yeah, TikTok, why not? Why not? Yeah, I have to think about that one as well. These are some tough questions.
And then impacts of hybrid working on Gen Z.
Which one?
Just the one at the bottom here.
What has been the impact of hybrid working on Gen Z? A mixture of things. I think that provides them with a lot of flexibility, which satiates some of their values, which I think is really important. But if it's just working from home, then that can be really detrimental in terms of mental health. It's really important that Gen Z are in the office, getting face-to-face time and building relationships. It's absolutely critical for their learning and fulfillment in the workplace. So For those that have been fully remotely, I think it's been because they're lacking that face-to-face time. And they might not realize it. So, yeah, having both, but it's really important to have in the office time, in my opinion, especially at stages of your career.
We'll sort of TikTok out now.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
Brilliant.
Cheers,
Thanks.
Patrick.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.